but I can't be responsible for what I say or I do. When I talk intoxicated, some say I told I love her, put out this moment saying, bitch, I must have been faded. You don't know what you heard about me, brother, what about me? It's a new trick, I'm a sucker on the trip. I'm in the VIP, with my niggas round me, saying y'all can have whatever.
They're looking good at City Hall here. I'm H. Brown. This is the H. Brown hour. There's some big fucking clown wandering around behind me. That's Kenny. Kenny the clown is very self. H. Brown hour, City Hall on pottalktv.org. That's on your internet. The Tony Dorenzo production. We got Kenny the clown here. Kenny, come in and say hi to the folks.
Hello, everybody. Pot TV. H. Brown is the man. I'm the clown. That's the man. Oh yeah, it's a funny business.
Here comes your first guest.
That's David. Say hi. Hi, David. Hey, buddy.
Oh my God, how are you? Who's this?
That's Coco. That's mine.
How are you?
I'm fine, David. How are you? Yeah, it's
Everybody,
Coco.
this is first guest today. We got 5 minutes promised. This is David Campos. He's the supervisor from District 9 in San Francisco.
How are you?
Kenny the clown.
See you.
Fine, Kenny.
Great.
Kenny the clown.
Thank you.
It's nice to see a clown outside of City Hall.
Everybody's got an act here. David has got 6 years left in District 9 as supervisor. You can pretty well bet. No sitting supervisor has been defeated yet under district elections. This round of district elections. We won't say what happened last round of district elections. But David, there's 39 days and a couple hours left till election. Give me a pick across the board. Who's going to win District 2 and why?
Well, I think Janet Wiley is probably going to win District 2. I think she has support across the board. I think that the other guy who's running in there, what's his name, like Farrell, he has some money, but I think that in the end Janet will pull it off. That's my prediction, at least.
Well, why did Angela Alioto endorse Janet Riley instead of Farrell?
From what I understand, she thinks that she's a more progressive candidate. That's my understanding, and that makes sense given Angela's history as a progressive supervisor. But you'd probably know better than I do.
Yeah, her son is much more conservative than her. The entire family is much more conservative than Angela is. She's much more progressive than her father was, as a matter of fact. Moving on to 4, you're going to have Carmen Chu back in 4. Anything happening with her? She seems much quieter the last few months. Have you been picking up on that? I know it's just idle gossip and all that, but she doesn't get in there and mix it up as much as she did.
You know, it's hard for me to say. Carmen Chu works really hard. She's very smart, and I think she can be very effective. I think that we have different styles. Some of us are more engaged at board meetings than others, but it doesn't mean she's not on top of things. I mean, I think that she'll get in there and she'll have 4 years, and she can be very effective.
Okay, I don't know what's going on either. District 6 is a real horse race. We've got 3 or 4 top candidates. They're calling them top tier. We've got 13 running actually. We've got
Are you running, by the way?
I never campaign. I joined the campaign and I get all the literature and I used to get on stages and argue with them, but I've been banned from most of the gatherings so far. It's just common sense, I guess. It's I hate it. I don't mind it if it's a business enterprise like the Chronicle. The Chronicle doesn't want to talk to me. That's okay. That's their own bad business. They're a private enterprise. They're a non-profit too. They don't mean.
Yeah, you're pleased.
I think it's a non-profit trying to not be a non-profit, but we'll see what happens with that.
Well, we got 6 and 6. You've got Teresa Sparks. You got Jane Kemp. You got Deborah Walker, and you got my boy Jim Miko. Who's going to pull that one out?
Well, you also have James Keys, and you have
Anaconda.
So you have a number of really good progressives. I mean, my main goal is to make sure that progressives don't go after each other, because I think if that happens,
that horse is out of the barn.
I know. I think that's right, but I still think you can pull it back. We have 39 days. We can all behave, focusing on the candidate we like. I like many of them. I've endorsed Deborah Walker. I think in the end Deborah Walker will pull it off.
Are you going to triple endorse, or are you going to do a second?
I'm thinking about all of that, but you know, my main focus is to make sure we get a progressive in there. You know, you're talking about someone replacing Chris Daly, who's been as solid a progressive vote as you get. So we have to keep that seat. That seat will ultimately determine, I think, whether or not we have a progressive majority on the board.
A brilliant statistician or a strategian, what the hell is it?
Strategist?
A strategist said that the more votes that James Key is able to pull down, every vote that James Key pulls down is a vote for Teresa Sparks. Would you agree with that?
You know, not necessarily. I mean, I think that what is likely to happen is that whoever gets the most #1 votes will win that race. That's the way IRB has worked out, and there really hasn't been an exception to that. So I think that whoever...
I thought Dudum finished.
No, you know, at first we thought that was the case, but actually,
15 votes or something.
Jew ended up actually getting the most #1 votes. So that still holds true even in that race. I think in the end, whoever gets the most #1 votes will win, and that the progressive vote will basically split, you know, across the board. I think that people voting for progressives, for a progressive at #1, will vote for the other progressives #2 and #3. So I don't think it's going to be the parade of horribles that people think it's going to be.
So no surprises from the chairman of the board's rules committee so far. He's got Janet Riley in 2. He's got, of course, Carmen Chu in 4, and he's got his candidate Deborah Walker in District 6. How about 8? Tough one at 8. 3 totally viable candidates, and one guy in there, I guess, giving away business cards or something. I don't understand. I know why I run, but some of these people I really don't understand.
Well, you know, it's good, I guess. In San Francisco, people are passionate about running. Let me just say this: it's a tough race. You have 3 top contenders. I think that in the end, Rafael will pull it off. I think he is getting a strong campaign together. I think that there is movement. And it's going in that direction. I'm hosting an event for him tonight. That's why I have to leave early. I think he's going to do it. I think it's still a very progressive district. There are a lot of people who care about progressive values. It's a district of Harvey Milk. It's a matter of getting the message across. And I think the progressive community will rally behind him. I think he's going to pull it off.
39 days. We haven't gotten to 10 yet, the only district yet. 39 days. Speaking of that, you're influential. How many events do you plan to attend in the next 39 days in support of your candidates?
You know what? I'm doing a lot of mornings, a lot of evenings. I think that as a member of the Board of Supervisors, we need to do whatever we can to keep a progressive majority.
100 events?
God, you know what? Probably. I mean, I have a lot of things. You know, you're going to see me mornings handing out literature at muni stops. You're going to see me evening going to different events. I think that every progressive member of the board has to go out and campaign, and even in those districts where we may not agree on one specific candidate, campaign for that candidate to make sure we keep a progressive board. So I'm going to be working my butt off before and after work to make sure that happens.
Give us District 10 here. We've got your other 4 picks. Who's going to knock this baby down in District 10? 21 people running. The various forums have been taking in 5 or 6 people in that, sometimes as many as 7. Think's going to win? Give us a rating on District 10.
The first thing that I will say is that I think it's critical that we don't have one of the moderate candidates win, and I would include in that Steve Moss, I would include in that Lynette Sweet, and I would include in that other people like Malia Cohen that I think that is not really a progressive candidate. Nothing against them, they're all good people, just different politics. The people that I like, DeWitt Lacey, Tony Kelly, I like Eric Smith, I like Chris Jackson. I think any of the 4
What about Isaac Bowers?
You know what? I don't know Isaac Bowers very well, but I have actually heard him speak. He's very smart. He's a lawyer, as I understand it, though you can't hold that against him. But I think that if any of those 4 win, I think that will be a good thing for us. I've endorsed all 4. My view is, let them run the best campaign. I think that, DeWitt Lacey with the Democratic Party, I think that's going to help them a lot. But I know that Tony Kelly also has a lot of support in Charles, so I think that's going to go a long way. Chris Jackson, you know, he's been elected citywide. He's running a strong campaign. So
have you endorsed anybody over there?
I have endorsed all four. I've endorsed all four because I feel like, you know what? I think that we have to.
Did you endorse Kelly, you said?
Yep. I think that we have to make sure that it's a progressive. And among those four progressives, I think there are, you know, there are pluses and minuses like all of us. My feeling is let them go and run the best campaign. But we have to keep that seat. I think that we can, because it's so divided. You have so many candidates that I think that a little push from the progressive community, I think that can make a difference.
That neighborhood doesn't vote. How many votes it's going to take to win in tomorrow?
You know what? It can be as little as 3. I think 3,000. 3,000 votes.
That's why ranked choice voting is so important.
I think 3,000, 4,000.
Oh, I think 2,500.
I think that can make the difference, actually. I think that, you know, in other districts you're talking about 6,000, 8,000, but I think in 10, because there are so many candidates and it's so split, 3,000 might actually make the difference. You might be right. It might be as low as 2,500. That's why I think that we have a real shot as progressives to get that seat. And so let's get behind one of those four candidates. I think that either one of them could really make it. That's my view.
Statewide, we've got our district attorney Kamala Harris is running for state attorney general. We've got our mayor Newsom is running for lieutenant governor. How do you see those races going?
I think a lot of it depends on what happens at the top of the ticket, what happens with the governor's race. It depends on how much money Meg Whitman puts into the campaign, which would be a lot of money, what kind of campaign Jerry Brown runs, because, you know, the reality is if the top of the ticket doesn't do well, it's going to impact the lieutenant governor, the AG, the insurance commissioner. So a lot of it depends on that. I still think that the Democrats will pull it off. I think Cooley is a very strong candidate. You know, he's going to get a lot of press because of the fact that he went after these government officials in the city of Bell. That was a smart move on his part. But I still think Kamala could do it, and I do think that she would be a much better AG than he would be. I think Gavin has a really good shot at being lieutenant governor.
Help me out in my ignorance here. These guys win. Guys and girls win. I think that both Gavin and Kamala are going to win. Who appoints the new district attorney, the acting mayor?
I think that it can be the acting mayor or interim mayor, depending on what you have. Unless, of course, for some reason Kamala Harris decided to step down and resign before her term is up, before the inauguration, and that would leave it up to the current mayor, Gavin Newsom, to appoint a replacement.
Is that one of those where you'd get what is it, 250 days would kick in that you'd have to have another election?
Yeah, I think that's.
Or if since you have a succeeding election coming in the fall?
It doesn't apply to the mayoralty, though, does it?
We're talking about the DA.
The DA. It's actually not clear. I think you're talking about either a June or a November election. I don't know which one it would be, but you know, but seriously, even if it's a June election, that person would have a leg up.
Okay, the biggest question everybody's asking, and we're anxious to get out of here ourselves tonight, because we want to go to see what Daly's Dive is. Have you been to Daly's Dive? They asked and signed the paperwork yet?
I haven't seen it. I want to go there. I think it's going to be the place where progressives hang out. I mean, I think he's going to do really well. I mean, the thing is, you know, he's going to make a lot of money out of this.
I hope so.
But I still think he's going to be progressive, even after he gets his millions. You know, I think he's never going to change. No, I don't think Chris Daly will
over, but he'll sell out.
No, he'll never sell out. I don't think Chris Daly will.
Get it on the record.
Get on the record. Are you going to? This clown standing next to you is running for mayor of Alameda. That's Kenny the Clown Khan. He also was a forward, wasn't it, for Berkeley?
Point guard.
A point guard, really?
Well, I didn't quite get to the Bears, but some people say lack of foot speed and jumping ability.
So what kind of reaction are you getting? Are people happy to see another clown in politics?
A real clown. Well, in 2006, I received about 10% of the vote, 9.6.
2007.
2000. No, that was because in San Francisco, I ran in 2000.
That's huge.
Well, in 2007, but I lost. That was kind of embarrassing because all my polls had me up like 15 to 1, 20 to 1. I was telling everybody it's Gavin threw something. Out of nowhere, he comes back and beats me. So
Kenny, your mom called me and told me not to vote for you.
Ow! Ow! Can he say that?
It's kind of hurt. It really happened.
I think he just did.
She said, "Don't take him seriously. He lives in my basement."
So he
doesn't even live in San Francisco.
So he actually got 9% of the vote.
They were
Alameda.
In Alameda.
Well,
I didn't think
I
can't believe
yeah, in
it.
Alameda, I got about 10%
He's a
of
lot
the
like
vote.
the Bulldog.
Sociology, well, I was a sociology major, UC Berkeley, right?
Oh, well, see, I'm a Stanford guy, so maybe, you know.
All right. So okay. Well,
Rivalry.
go Bears. Hold on. There's no camera, but
David,
we'll go ahead. We'll take a
I'm not
picture.
going
Go Bears.
to tie you up. Thanks for being our first guest. We're going to, over the next 5 Fridays, if you get a chance on your way out on the campaign trail, go out there and do those 100 appearances for all those progressive candidates. And thanks for all the work.
All right, guys.
Buddy.
Thank you. You know, listen, keep at it, and, you know, thanks for inviting me.
David Campos,
And
District
we'll
9
see you again,
Supervisor,
okay?
another
Thank
6
you.
years.